game. A long day, a job well done, and the final work call. Where your place? Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mice, eat locally, enjoy casually.
Stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
it's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a gold line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a gold line.
And is the choice of champions.
It has happened where people just haven't noticed and they've run out of time. I'm like, sounds good. Oh, overcooked it a bit. Jeez.
Clean! Keep going, keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going!
Minus 1,000 flash will win apres curl.
Oh, they're really sweeping this, boys.
They're
really sweeping this. Oh, boy, you can't give up a steal here.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, nice shot from Kate.
Here we go, it's happening.
Yeah, draw for the win for Rylan Kleider. Needs a piece of the forefoot. He's been really good all game. Trevor Johnson on this one here.
Can't hear yet for line ever.
No,
Oh,
they
line's
like
good.
line. Now does it have the speed? They like the line. Does it have the speed? They're going hard for line. You have to get by this top yellow. Trevor Johnson leaning on it. He's by it. Now does it stop in time? Has to stop in time. What a shot from Rylan Kleider. We thought it was maybe the hardest option up from the booth, but that's why we're not down there.
A long day, a job well done, and the final work call. Where your place? Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mice, eat locally, enjoy casually.
Stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
and when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
it's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Last drop.
Yep.
8-10.
From
the tie to 12. Is it O'Brano?
Yep.
Bra linje! Bra linje! Var med och dra den lite. Var med och dra den. Okej. Linjen är okej då tror jag. Jättefint. Grymt. Oj. Jättefint.
The third event at the Grand Slam of curling. It is the Coyote National, and it is moving day here Friday in St. John's. This women's draw 13 action between Anna Hasselborg and Xenia Schwaller. John Cullen alongside Olympic gold medalist Tyler George for this one. Anna Hasselborg already clinched her playoff spot, sitting at 3-0. Xenia Schwaller needs this win to get to 2-2 and get into the playoffs, and that usually means fireworks, Tyler.
Yeah, I expect to see Roxon play it early. We got the center guard and come around already, but yeah, big game for Schwaller. Always such a weird feeling playing the fourth game at the Slam if you're in that 2-1 or 1-2 position where you know there's a decent chance you end up in a tiebreaker scenario, and you're playing at 8 in the morning or 8:30 in the morning out here on the Rock, and you might be waiting a long time to figure out if you're actually in the playoffs or not after you play that last game.
Yeah, for sure. And the tiebreakers do go at 8:30 tomorrow morning, too. And in some cases, you may not know until after the night draw tonight. So that could be the fate that befalls Xenia Schwaller, but she'd be happy to take that rather than be eliminated from another Slam this season. They've yet to be able to find their way into a Slam playoff, but they do come into this game ranked number 13 in the world. Anna Hasselborg ranked number 6. And as I said, Hasselborg already in the playoffs, but would love to get that fourth victory. You get some extra cash in your pocket, and in theory, you get a potentially easier game in the playoffs, although we have seen that not exactly work like that. Rachel Holman's gift for going 4-0 in Nisku was getting to face Carrie Anerson in the quarterfinals, so doesn't always work that way, but yeah, definitely you love to come out of the pool undefeated and have that feather in your cap going into the playoffs.
Yeah, Schwaller, this is their third Slam this season, have not qualified in the first two. Had some good wins and a bit of a roller coaster game in their last. You were on the call for that one, John.
Yeah, as I said after the game, I needed to go lay down after.
We were on the game next to you,
yeah.
And there's a lot of jumping around, hands on the head, but we couldn't hear what you were saying, obviously.
It was just an interesting situation. They were playing Team Gim yesterday, and they needed the win to keep themselves alive. They were sitting at 0-2, and they were up 3 in the 8th end. And I think, and look, I'm no expert, I'm no Kevin Martin, but I think if Xenia doesn't even throw her last 2 rocks, Gim can't win that game. Or if she was to win it, she would have had to make 2 unbelievable shots if Xenia doesn't even throw, as this one's all over the guard here for Agnes Knockenhauer. But unfortunately, Xenia, with both of her last 2 shots, actually made Eunji Gim's shots easier, gave her an out, and she ended up scoring 3, and it went to the extra. So yeah, it was just, you know, they're the youngest team in the field. We talked about it yesterday on the stream as well. Xenia, the only skip in the field, born in the 2000s. I don't know how good that makes you feel to hear, but
not very.
No, not
that's
very.
What you're looking for.
No, not. I mean, same for me. You and I are pretty close in age. It doesn't make me feel good either, but it is a fact. And they are the reigning world junior champions as well. So we don't often see teams this young in the Slams, and they're going to have some growing pains. And that was definitely one of those games where they had that yesterday, as this was a chance for Fabian Rieder to really put some pressure on Team Hasselborg, get a 3rd stone in there with Hammer, but sails that one through the house, unfortunately.
We've heard very consistently throughout the week from the players we've had up here in the booth that draws have been very difficult, and it can make you look dumb in a hurry if you're off a little bit on weight. Carrie Anerson was telling us that last night. So the difference between the amount of curl for backline weights or hack weights even is considerably different. And you just get on a different track with these draw paths, especially early in the game. You saw Agnes come up short, wreck the guard, and then Team Schwaller goes right through the house on the next one on the opposite side. So teams are guessing a lot on weight and line on what look to be simple draws. So
yeah,
we like that.
For sure.
Those of us that are veterans,
absolutely.
That you got to read dice. You know, that's part of the game.
That too,
it's
for
not
sure.
always going to be perfect and easy to throw on every path.
Yeah, no question. It was funny. I was at the hotel bar last night after the game with a few curlers, and Brendan Botcher was returning from his loss to Mike McEwen in that big game last night, and he was talking to as we got the hat cam there for Agnes Knockenhauer. We've seen that a few times.
That's the hat she was wearing. Yeah, it was so unusual for her to be wearing a hat while she played.
Yeah, so we saw yesterday, I think Agnes wore it for the first half of the game and Sophia wore it for the second half, so we'll see if they do the same today. But yeah, it was Brendan Botcher had come back from his game. I was sitting there at the bar with Rachel Homan, and Brendan Botcher said to Rachel, I didn't play that well. I flashed a hit in the first end. And Rachel said, it's the first end. That's really hard. And you don't usually hear like a skip say, you flashed an open hit. That's kind of not your fault. But it has seemed like, every game has been a little bit different. The morning draw, too, is maybe going to be a little crisper. There's less fans in the building. So, it'll be interesting to see how these teams adjust here.
It's a pretty cool, subtle humble brag there, too. While I was sitting at the bar with Rachel Homan and Brendan Botcher.
Brendan Botcher
counted up their championships between us.
Yeah, exactly. Between the three of us, yeah, exactly. Between the three of us, we have, I think, 6 Canadian championships. I won't tell you.
Amazing.
Won't tell you
That's
how
an
many.
Average of 2 per person.
I know. Isn't that so crazy? Yeah. I just let people fill in the blanks. They don't have to know that I'm adding 0 to that.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just our normal, crew that we talk curling.
Yeah, exactly. It's just very chill. I know I didn't mean for it to sound humble braggy, but I did realize as I was telling the story that it may come across that way. But I figured
That's
it was.
why I said that.
I figured it was worth it. I
it.
figured it was worth it for the insight from Rachel.
Yes.
I assume the fans would appreciate that, even if I was humble bragging a little.
It was worth it, but I still had to say it.
Yeah. Well, that was not the desired result
That's
there for Fabian Reeder.
With what we've been talking about, the shooting percentages in the first end, I would think, are probably lower than any other end in the game by a pretty wide disparity right now.
Yeah, that was a tough pair for Fabian Reeder. The Team Schwaller was set up really well. And she gassed her first draw and then takes out her own stone there and exposes this back one. So there'll be some options here for Team Hasselborg, and they're going to decide to freeze here. We started a little late this morning, didn't have a chance to meet the teams, but this Hasselborg team would be very familiar to curling fans out there from Sundbyberg, Sweden, and a Hasselborg at skip. Sarah McManus at third, Agnes Knockenhauer at second, and Sophia Maybergs at lead.
Team Hasselborg, always a special place in my heart for sharing a very important championship in 2018.
Okay, now who's bragging?
I had to now. Do you feel better? You feel better? It's not just you now.
Yeah, but you're bragging about an Olympic gold medal. I'm bragging about sitting in a bar with Rachel Homan.
Between the two of us, Anna and I, we have 2.
And if I'm sitting with the 3 of you, then if it's me and you and Anna, we have 2 Olympic gold medals between the 3 of us.
This is the Friday morning draw, ladies and gentlemen. Good tap there to sit 2 from Anna. Good result on McManus's freeze. Tapping that rock back on the line they're on, sits 2. This one's over.
Yeah, this is really curling for Selena Goffner.
Team Schwaller can't throw it in the ocean right now, and we're not that far away from the ocean.
Yeah, that's
I use that line a lot, and I realize how close we are to the ocean.
We are really close to the ocean. Yeah.
Vicka in eller gadda. Men vilken in är väl bra. Du skulle till och med kunna vicka lite så här, trycka den dit. Jag tror nästan det är slaget. På en 10 så händer det alltid någonting bra. Men du behöver nog hålla upp farten lite.
Still with 2 Schwaller stones in the house, and Hasselborg playing without hammer, electing to hit 4th count and trying to roll in. That Team Hasselborg's game earlier in the week, and Sarah McManus was the best player on the sheet by quite a ways, it seemed.
Yeah, they've obviously been playing well coming into this one with a 3-0 record, as that's a really good shot from Sarah McManus.
Yeah, great angles. You can't play to the #1 counter now. And that was the idea. I think Anna was playing for that exact roll and bump the whole way.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, wins over Tabata and Gim for Team Hasselborg, as well as, I can't remember the third team they played. On the first day, they played Team Laws. So 7-3 winners over Laws, 6-2 over Gim, and then a solid 6-4 win over Tabata yesterday finds them in a playoff spot. Looking for the double here is Selena Goffner, and won't find it, but 2 yellows hanging around at least, Tyler.
Yeah, still some shrapnel, but not great angles for Team Schwaller to make either of those count.
Yeah, they're running out of time a little bit, I would say.
Jag tror att vi lägger den så här, va? Ja. Precis. Ja, hon måste göra en ganska bra tap.
Ja, alltså även där.
Ja. Är det en gard här, eller? Nej, men inget hål. Ja, där ja. Vi vill inte lämna något hål bara.
Number 1 objective here for Hasselborg is protecting the #1 counter, because there's space to roll in. So if there's going to be a cheap 2, that's the stone they're playing to. So I think it's just going to be a straight guard. Long conversation from Hasselborg here. I'm guessing my Swedish still no better than it was at any point this week or any other week, that they're talking about line and speed as well as the placement of the stone, for the exact reason we've been talking about, with teams struggling so much with the ice in the first end.
Yes, for sure. Just making sure you want to get it right. As this is obviously a good opportunity to steal early. I never mind teams taking a little bit of extra time if that's what's going to make the skip comfortable. So first stone here for Anna Hasselborg in the first. Looks like maybe they've decided to come in the rings here, Tyler.
Yeah, definitely getting close to top 12s.
Oh, that's a good shot.
Yeah, they wanted it tight.
Yeah.
Run in, I don't think they can lose both reds in the house unless it really goes thin on the 2, but
yeah,
unlikely.
Yeah, that would be a shot you wouldn't even try. It'd be one you'd make by accident. Okay, they're just going to try to double off the one in the top 8. This Team Schwaller playing out of the Grasshopper Curling Club in Zurich, Switzerland. The skip is Xenia Schwaller, third Selena Goffner, second Fabian Rieder, and lead Selena Riekiger. And as you can see, Fabian Rieder also holds the broom for Xenia's shots, as the Selenas are quite the sweeping duo. I've been really impressed with them over the slams. We talked about how they maybe haven't had that playoff success yet, but they're very young, and I think they're one of the best sweeping teams on the women's side, even at such a young age, and I think that adds a lot for the future prospects of this team. So double try here for Schwaller. This needs to curl, though. And unfortunately, they get a little tick off their own and leave that one in the top 8.
Yeah, it looks like it's a fairly safe guard for Hasselborg here, too. There isn't a yellow run-in.
I don't think there's any way you're giving up more than one, and Schwaller's going to have to make a pretty good shot to get her one.
Yeah, I think if you had to have two, you could slash the other red guard in and get it over the top with that rocking the top eight, but they're not playing that in the first. So, yeah, just a mid-tight guard. This one doesn't need to be really tight, but if you're trying to take away the shot for one, you're probably throwing it right around inside the K on KIOTI. So there's no hole, but you're still covering up number one so they can't get to the inside.
Anna Hasselborg has been in control the entire end and looking to make that show up on the scoreboard. A guard with her last here in the first.
Carrie Anderson was commenting in the booth last night, too, about how hard it was to place guards on this ice for all the reasons we've been discussing. Just to stop now.
That's a pretty good spot there for the skip from Sundbyberg. Maybe did it over curl a hair?
Just a touch. You can get there for one now. So taking Broom just inside the edge of the 8-foot. Probably throwing backside of button, back four out of hand, and then sweeping to tap. You don't have a big problem with giving up a steal of one in the first. You don't want to give up two. So you're throwing this close to a clean draw weight and sweeping for tap, I would think.
Xenia Schwaller been chasing all end. We'll see if she can finally catch the rabbit here with her last one. Needs a small tap. Goffner and Riekiger picking this one up right away. This does not look like a lot of weight from up here.
That's got to go for weight. The line's really good if it's there, but it's over curling right now.
Got to make sure you get by that top one, at least only give up a steal of one, and indeed that's what they will do. So never really had the weight from Xenia Schwaller, but a good sweep from Selena Goffner ensures it's only a steal of one, but the Swedes will take an early lead. We'll be right back.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
Well, Tyler, a good start for the veterans in the first end. Fabian Reeder with a couple misses, and Team Hasselborg makes them pay, and it's 1-0 early on here for the Swedish contingent.
A lot of struggles there in the first end from Schwaller, and it wasn't just misses, it was bad misses. You know, the wrong side and, you know, fairly egregious too, with the draw going through and then picking your own out on the next. They had a great setup, and all of a sudden things turned on its head, but it was looking like possible 3 or even more for Schwaller for a while.
Yeah, the setup was fantastic, but we know how quickly, especially at the slams, it can change on its head. And You know, you just think about experience too, as you mentioned earlier. It's been a tough season at the slams for Schwaller. They've played in 3 slams now. They played at the Players last year, making it there shortly after their World Junior win, and then playing in the Tour Challenge, the Hearing Life Tour Challenge, and the Co-op Canadian Open so far this year, and have yet to make the playoffs. Meanwhile, Anna Hasselborg has 7 Grand Slam titles to her name. And it was the first team to win the career Grand Slam for the women's as well. Has all 5, even an Elite 10 in her trophy case back in the old days, the old Elite 10 tournament. So yeah, she has the career Grand Slam, and maybe gonna teach Schwaller a few lessons here this morning, but we'll see.
Another team, it's strange to call a veteran squad for some of us, but I feel like Team Hasselborg is kind of the sleeping giant in the women's game right now. They have the pedigree, they have the Olympic gold, you know, they've got the world medals. They've just kind of been under the radar, maybe, you know, I think focusing a little more on family, as, you know, teams tend to do, and rightfully so, and waiting to round into form for the Olympic run again. And they've got some good results on tour this season. 2 wins with the Oslo Cup and the Swedish Euro qualifier, a couple runners-up, the Basel Masters, the Sundbyberg Open. They're lurking right now. They're getting better results, and now you're seeing what they're doing here in the Slam too. So they're starting to look like that killer cutthroat team of old that we've seen.
Yep.
If you're you know, we are encouraged to talk about betting numbers here, but if you're a betting person going into the Worlds and the next Olympics, that's a team I would look to get some good odds on.
Yeah, and I know for Anna, the World Championship is actually the one thing that has eluded her over the years, has yet to win a World Championship, has some European Championships to her name, and as you said, the Olympic gold medal in 2018, bronze in 2022, and yeah,
she has the mixed doubles gold.
Exactly, yeah, the first player ever actually to hold the Olympic gold, the European title, and the world mixed doubles title at the same time. So yeah, they're very accomplished, and like you said, weird to call them veterans. They're still in their early 30s, but they just have been around that long and have been that good for that long. But yeah, family has been the priority. Anna has 2 kids under the age of 3. Agnes has actually an older daughter who's, I think, 11, but just had a kid last year. Sarah had her first kid last year, so they're all managing that. Sophia also moved to Saskatoon, so that has become a part of their routine as well. Her partner Brady Sharbach lives there, so she's now across an ocean when they need to practice and everything. And so it's, yeah, life changes, you know, and I'm sure you went through that too with the teams you played on. I know I did for sure too. It's just part of the reality for these athletes. You know, you want to be able to do it all, and sometimes that requires periods of adjustment, we'll say.
Another good start to the end for Team Schwaller. We'll see if they can carry that on to back-end stones this time. And I did like how they threw that last shot in the first 2, John. You know, normally you'd say, hey, this is a elite team playing in a Grand Slam, ranked in the top 15 in the world. We expect them to make that tap to score, but with teams struggling as much as they have with the first-hand ice, throwing it to a spot where you're handing it to the sweepers. We talked about how weight-sensitive it's been on shots like that. Made sure that they weren't giving up more than 1. Now they're on the attack in the second end of the game, and they really did have a good setup in the first 2, so they know they can score. Just don't get yourself down multiple points early in the game.
Another good look at the hat cam there from Agnes Knockenhauer, and we also got a close look at how Sarah McManus had to get on this stone right away. And that's unfortunate for Agnes because Fabian Rieder's rock had over-curled, and it gave them an opportunity to get at that shot stone. But unfortunately for Agnes, racks on the guard and continues to be Schwaller line 1.
Ja, maar dat is een echte run, double run. Zeg naar echte double run, natürlich noch das, dann bist du auch besser. Aber wir kommen nachher nicht an dich an. Ja? Würde ich nie spielen. Sie hat ja den nochmal. Komm schnell rauf, Fabian.
So Reeder's going to take a look. I was going to say, Tyler, like, you know, it seems like they're talking about a couple options here. What are you seeing?
I think you need to get inside on this and tap these around. Should still sit 2 if you move that to the back of the forefoot and the shooter goes over. You could guard too, but it's just really early in the end to do that.
Would you ever consider just kind of hitting this on the angle to lie 3?
You could do that too, but you're probably leaving your number 1 counter open in the back, and your shooter probably has to roll away a little bit. It's an option. I really like trying to get the shooter underneath.
Yeah, that seemed to be Xenia's first call.
That's where she's pointing out. That miss again from Knockenhauer. 90% of the misses we've seen in the first couple ends of the game, close to the center line, have been narrow or light.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I know you and I have been talking to a lot of curlers this week, both in the booth and otherwise, and they've all kind of said that if you can't let, you know, when we get taught coming up, you know, you almost want like a handshake motion when you let go of the rock, something a little smooth. And pretty much every curler that I've talked to anyway, and I'm sure it's the same for you, has said that's out the window here, that the ice, if you don't give it kind of a little positive extension at the end, you're going to lose it. And I think that's what we've seen a few times here so far already.
Yeah, that's been slam ice for 20, 30 years. Like, we always felt like we threw the rock differently at the slam than we did everywhere else. Oh, that's a morning squeak. I think they elected to try to tap back to the red. That's why they're sweeping now. Really, if they just let that go, they'd probably cross, tap it to back 4, just like they were talking about initially.
Yeah, agreed. They got a little unfortunate there. That curls up at the last minute for Fabian Reeder, and this maybe gives an opportunity for Anna to do just that, squeeze in behind those guards. James Craik is about to give up $1 million to Magnus Ramsfjell here.
He's not going to have hardly anything except that red slash.
Yeah,
I'd maybe hit that red and roll in. Sorry, we'll stop talking about the game next. But they might give up like 6, so we're paying attention there too.
Yeah, 3 other games out here with us this morning, all available on the Home Team Network. Craik and Ramsfjell is one, Laws and Fujisawa another, and John Schuster and Matt Dunstone on the furthest sheet away, and oh no.
Same miss again, over curling in the center of the sheet, and they just can't get that rock like out of their hand to make that shot.
Yeah, and unlucky for Sarah, not only missing the shot, but poking that Yellowstone in to be second. And this is starting to look a little dangerous here for Team Hasselborg.
And now it's that red stone, though, is still in a good spot for Hasselborg in the top of the house. As strange as it is, I kind of like hitting this stone. It's too useful for Hasselborg. You still have 3 more shots after this too, so there's plenty of time to get to that back red to try to make as many yellows count as you can.
An important shot early for Selena Goffner. You'd love to stick this shooter in the house. Unfortunately, they won't, but they do get rid of that trouble rock, and it is Team Schwaller lying 1, 2, and 4 here still. You heard Selena Goffner there, a little broom bang. I don't think that's a horrendous result by any means.
Got a little unlucky that they ticked that other yellow counter so they're even up, and it makes the pocket double easier.
Bästa slaget egentligen att sätta den och vicka på där. Men det är väl bäst att bara sätta käppen och få bort två. Det är precis i mitten, Sara.
Anna was talking about possibly playing the double on the center line one and the back one, and then cornering for the number one counter. But I think they're just electing to play that pocket smash now and lose both yellows.
Sarah McManus bringing the heat here.
Needs to get up to lose the one on the left. Just enough.
And is it enough? Oh, I think that's still on, T. Yeah, that's on for sure. So really close to a perfect result for Sarah McManus.
Could end up mattering. Ooh. Drake may have his way out of the avalanche on sheet C now. He's got one chance to avoid 6.
So just a hit and roll here for Selena Goffner, no mistake.
Yeah, good shot and rolling it in front of the red, also a good result.
Yeah, Team Schwaller lying 2-3-4 here. They don't have the shot stone, but the Hasselborg rock not in a tremendous spot either.
Alltså om vi gör den så har jag alltid en dubbel för max 2. För att det går inte att dra någonstans för att ligga. Det går knappt att, alltså, det är svårt att ligga. Nej, det är bara så.
Yeah, they need to roll this all the way back to the other side of the house. If you play it with anything control or less, you should be able to roll deep enough that you're sitting 2.
And James Craik is going to give up 4, and he was actually playing a triple to concede 3, which you don't see too often at this level of curling. The triple didn't quite come off for him. So it'll be a draw for 4 in that one for Magnus Ramsfjell. So hit and roll here for Anna Hasselborg. This has not curled too much here. You want to stick around behind that corner guard if you can, but
it's just a lot of weight for that shot, John.
Yeah.
That's got to be control or less for sure, and that was close to normal.
Yeah, my Swedish is probably about as good as yours, but I did sort of hear Anna say that they were looking for an option to maybe only give up 2 here, and I don't think that was the one, as 3 definitely still in play here for Xenia Schwaller.
Now the difficult part is trying to leave the shooter in a spot where you don't give a double back for Hasselborg. I think probably just a sliver high will make it a really thin double.
First stone here for Xenia Schwaller, second end. Trying to create some separation between all her lemons here.
Needs to cross just a little bit and avoid the backing. It's pretty good. Another couple inches of roll would have been the ideal spot, but it's not bad. At least makes it tougher. Need one of those I don't hate it Grand Slam of curling hats.
I don't hate it.
Ideal, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, it's not. This is not a gimme double by any means for Anna Hasselborg. it's one we'd expect her to make, but it's not automatic. It's not insanely easy.
That's thick half to little more than a third is probably the area you need to hit. So not incredibly precise and not a lot of space. You have to have these rocks roll.
Last rock, Anna Hasselborg looking for the double to prevent a score of 3.
Looks pretty good.
And she has it. Very nice shot from Anna Hasselborg, and so it will be a draw to the paint, 4-2 for Xenia Schwaller.
And that biter does come into play with that rock not getting out of the back of the house, and players have also remarked on how dead the outside of the rings have been. That rock looked like it was probably going to go flying out. It ends up biting, and it's a point on the scoreboard for Schwaller.
Yeah, literally as soon as Sarah McManus hit that rock, you said, oh, there they both go. And yeah, like you said, it's one we would expect to go, but it does hang on. And so that hanger on, all important here for the team from Zurich, just looking to hit paint for 2.
These are the ones too, John, where you want to be precise. Don't think of it as a draw to the paint. Draw the button just so you see it, but also you don't want to get out of that mindset of being precise on these shots. No problem there.
Yeah, that completely covered the pin, so no issue for Xenia Schwaller. They will put 2 on the board, and we'll get our first look at Anna Hasselborg with the hammer right after this.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Well, Tyler, that was a well-played end for Team Schwaller. Very controlled, in control, and they put 2 on the board.
Yeah, John, you can see why this team has success at this early stage of their curling careers. They place rocks really well. And, 2 ends in, both ends, they had Team Hasselborg chasing for the majority of it, outside of a couple mistakes in the first. But this is a team that can score some points. We can see that already. We've only had, I think, 1 or 2 of their games so far this year, but fun team to watch. This is not a team that looks like they're going to trade hits and play for blanks.
No, they definitely like to keep rocks in play. I mean, that was, pardon me, actually part of their problem yesterday against Team Gim. They were up 3 and guarding rocks in the house. And it can be their downfall sometimes, but yes, for the most part, they love to keep rocks in play. And
there's probably some junior coaches with gray hairs out there.
I would imagine
from
so.
Not so long ago.
I would imagine so.
But we love it here. I can tell you that.
Absolutely, and it obviously worked for them. They were undefeated at the World Juniors last year, so yeah, very strong team coming out of the juniors. And I don't know if you follow any of them on Instagram, but I was talking about this yesterday. They're also doing some program with the Swiss Army right now. So they've all been training with the Swiss Army. And I think that's in some of these countries, that's part of the funding, is that you also do like army training and stuff. I know that's the case for Italy. I don't know about any other ones, but yeah, so they've been posting pictures of them in the army fatigues and doing the training and stuff. It's been kind of fun to follow along with, and yeah, they definitely look like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with on this Slam Tour for a while. And I don't know For Silvana Tirinzoni, she's been playing for a long time, you know, probably on the back part of her career. And you just wonder.
I didn't say that.
Well,
she's been playing for a while, and she's playing great. That's how I'm going to say it.
Oh, I never said she was. I never said she should stop.
Prime.
I'm just saying she may at some point. And it's just, all I was going to say is it's good for the Swiss Federation to know they've got another team coming up.
I'm just
right
bound
behind
and
them.
determined to get you in trouble.
That's fine. I'm
You heard
not-
it here. John Collins says
Yes,
Silvana
exactly.
Tirinzoni's done.
Should retire. that's the quote, the scare
Number
quotes.
2 ranked skip in the
Yeah,
world.
exactly. No, I want Silvana to play as long as she wants to play.
That's nice of you.
Yes.
I'll say she played fantastic at the Europeans, too. Silvana was really good over there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, they're going to go down as one of the best teams of all time, and Silvana and Alina will go down as 2 of the best curlers of all time. There's no question about that.
Do you think Alina should retire?
No.
No? Okay. Just Silvana.
She's closer to retiring than Alina is, probably. How's that for a diplomatic
Possible.
answer?
I don't know. I think she should play for a long time. I think she's great.
I like that you say that like I don't think she's great. Well, I think
That's
she's
how I
great.
took it,
I
so
think
I mean-
she's great, John.
One of us does for sure. I don't know about the other.
It's been very fun. I think the thing I like most about Team Tirinzoni is just the rivalries they've had on tour over the years too. Right now, obviously having one with Rachel Homan, but they have had some great battles with Anna Hasselborg over the years, and they've just always been a team that's near or at the top of the game, and so they have these great rivalries with teams, and they're such a fun team to watch.
Yeah, when you're towards the top of the world rankings, those rivalries seem to happen because it's cyclical with other teams too, that somebody rises up, for a year or two, and just like any other sport, when somebody hits that window, when they're playing their best, then that's where those rivalries come from. And it always comes. It doesn't come from teams at the bottom of fields. It's the ones that are competing for championships, and obviously Silvana and Alina have been doing that for quite a while now.
So a hit and roll here for Fabian Reeder, well made.
Yeah, they really control their weights well for a younger squad. So often when you're watching teams coming up through the junior ranks, it feels like they have 2 weights, hit and draw. But this team really controls their weights, and you're not getting into slams without being able to do that, and you're definitely not winning at slams without being able to do that.
Yeah, there's lots of signs of maturity from this team, and I think that's one of them for sure. We talk about their game calling, their sweeping, their rock management, but I think that's definitely one too, Tyler, and it's a great point. They have all the weights, and they don't want that one to roll. They just rolled a little too far, I think.
Close. It looks like yellow is closer. Yeah. Hard to tell on overheads again.
Xenia sort of indicating she doesn't know either, so.
Ja, ich weiß einfach nicht, wer besser ist. Was gibt's sonst noch? Bitte anspielen. Ja, aber die Winkel sind ja noch gut. Ja, aber Schalt, es ist nur gut, wenn du so
I think that's your best shot right now. Just because of those rocks on the outside of the sheet, I think clear the red and let them chase both yellows.
Yeah, I would agree. I didn't like the initial call. Of, you're in effect maybe hitting 4th shot.
Yeah.
And I don't generally condone that sort of thing.
This is it's not a gimme either to make this. Fairly good chance that you roll off the paint playing it.
And speaking of having all the weights, this is a good look here. Selena Goffner can chuck them if she wants to.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree with that one. I mean, I think for Hasselborg, it's a pretty easy draw back quadrant call.
Yep, I would agree. So just taking a look at the other games out here, John Schuster had to work hard but managed to get his blank in the third end. Needs a win to guarantee himself a playoff spot. He's already beaten Bruce Mowat and Nicholas Edin. Would be impressive to cap off his week with a win over 8th-ranked Matt Dunstone. Schuster, the low-ranked men's team in the field this week. They're up 2-1 with the Hammer playing the 4th.
So they beat the last 2 world champs. Who else do they need to beat?
Briar runner-up from 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good one. Who was the previous world champ before that?
Before Bruce
the
and
22 champ.
Before Bruce and
Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Yeah.
Last 3
was
world
Nicholas
champs.
again, yeah. So
yeah, and Nicholas in 21.
Yeah, so he beat the last 4 world champs because Nicholas won so many of them.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, Fujisawa Satsuki is leading Caitlin Laws 1-0. Laws has the Hammer playing 3, and as we said earlier, Magnus Romsfjeld did make that draw for 4, so he leads James Craik 4-1. All those games available on the Home Team Network. You won't have any commentary, but the video available, and we do also have the Full House running here this morning, so you can watch our game in the big box and have the other 3 games just below. A lot of fans loving that Full House view from Home Team Network, so check it out if you're already watching and have not done so previously. And so they didn't draw around here, Tyler. They decided to draw to the back 12. You like that that rock placement for that red?
I would rather see it shot rock, but
I'm sure that's what they were trying.
Yeah, I like the call. I mean, that's what we said immediately. Just draw open, sit 2, play for your 2 that way, because there's not a great setup for a 3.
Yeah, I'm again maybe a little surprised to see Selena hitting 3rd shot.
Yeah, on 3rd, 2nd stone especially. And the problem here is if they nose this, now Anna can freeze.
We'll roll in slightly.
Yeah, that's not a good spot. And now I think now she's talking about hitting. I thought she'd, maybe she can't get there with this.
Yeah, the freeze might be tough. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I think it's maybe just you got no room there.
Yeah, still kind of a concession of 2 type of call for
I agree.
Schwaller, unless they're able to make a good roll underneath.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this late in the end, I would tend not to be chasing after 3rd shot, especially when the shot stone is available to be taken out. Sometimes you have to hit 3rd shot out of necessity, but I wouldn't say it was a necessity there. So Sarah McManus looking for a roll here. They were looking for a big roll, did not want to go behind the guard and set up a potential freeze. And
that's a good call and a great roll.
Really good roll from Sarah McManus. Almost the perfect spot. I do believe Hasselborg lying 2.
Very precise.
Wenn wir Schott sind. Aha, so meinst du? Ja, der anspielen. Sind wir auch gerade schon? Ja, aber wir sind wirklich schnell. De ligger tajt ihop, så det går ju att spela på.
It's interesting now that after they hit that, they're not looking at hitting it. Now that it's in a spot you probably should. They will get shot rock, they think, hitting this top yellow because there's a little space between the yellow and red. So you could sit 2 if you made this really well. You have to probably play board and roll out wide. So it's not a bad call. You can sit 2. It's a really good result.
Yeah, I think it would have been easier to sit 2 if they did this on the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, and the double might have played into a jam if you made it on the last one too, with leaving that rock there.
First stone, Xenia Schwaller Looking for a very precise hit and roll, trying to lie two. Got to get by that center guard, though. Oh, no.
There's that miss again. Same one. Over curling in the center.
Yeah, that is...
Might have to nickname that, like, for regular curling, like the slam miss.
Yeah, seriously.
Fast de gör väl inte. Jag tycker vi tar time. Jag tycker vi ska ta time.
Early timeout here from Hasselborg. Take a look at these angles.
Timeout.
Coach Lindstrom will come down to chat.
Fast nu är det för långt. Jag tycker inte... Vill vi komma här då? Det är deras enda. Ja, här skulle vi dock kunna få en TT så... Vad gillar du? Vi ligger två. Ja. Nej, inte, det är svårt att lägga två skulle jag säga. Alltså nu kan de tjejer spela så. Och inte kalla över. De kommer inte frysa här. Aldrig. De kommer spela här för de vill inte tappa. Ja, exakt. Vad sa du? Nej. Då fryser de. Ja, det gör de. Men här... Ja, här tror jag. Ja, så här, ja. Nej, det farligaste är att komma hit. Ja. Min första var också någonting här. Här är det garanterat. Jag tycker den här är för 3. Jag tycker att den här, och jag är här, då ger vi henne det enklaste slaget för... Jag gillar den. Ja, exakt.
So it looks like they're playing the out-turn come around. Try to show a half somewhere in there. Really don't want to overbury or go deep. So you don't want to line up a possible run in double or triple. And if it's behind the tee line, you're leaving the freeze. The only other shot I think you would have considered here, John, would have been drawing between the corner guard and those two staggered to the side of the 8-foot and dare them to play the hit and roll off that stone. Because they only have one left. I think that probably would have been my preferred shot.
We'll see if Anna can find this in the right spot, trying to get a potential 3 set up here following the timeout.
Yeah, you could bring as many as 4 in if this is made, but this is over curling again.
Yeah,
really needs to go.
This out-turn spot has been very tricky, both for draws and hits. And did that move the yellow enough to bump it into second shot too here, Tyler? I think it might have.
Yeah, sure looks like it did. That's a really bad miss there for Anna. That's the other reason that I kind of like throwing the draw to the side of the 8-foot through is teams just are struggling so much with that line.
Yeah, and it does seem to be that out turn in particular. It's, and then the in turn going the other way. It's just this side of the sheet that's closest to the crowd. And this is a morning draw, so, you know, the seats are not exactly full here, but you do still get the warmth of the crowd that's on this side of the sheet. Maybe that's having an impact, but you're right, Tyler. I mean, we're only in the third end, and what have we seen? 5, 6 shots over curl in that spot. It's been really tough for both teams to find it.
Yeah, that's just draws. I mean, the hits we've seen.
I'm counting it.
Multiple
yeah,
times.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's probably a dozen at least with hits and draws combined that have missed narrow or light.
I like this call from Xenia. She was originally thinking about maybe hitting, but that could end up quite badly for you, depending on where you hit that top red. So she's going to draw around everything. And I think, Tyler, if she makes this, it's a pretty good steal setup.
Yeah, draw is the right shot. You can get shot rock, and you're sitting third right now, so there's not a ton of danger. So you can have a good go at this. Try to get right to the side of the button.
Final stone, Xenia Schwaller here in the third. See if they can manage this path here. It's a hair wider.
This should come down. I like the line for sure.
Yeah, line looks excellent.
Needs to sit.
Nothing at all from Riekiger and Goffner yet.
Really
how good is that, Tyler George?
Really good. Woo. Yeah, I can't hand place that one better. That's a tough score now for Hasselborg. So kudos to Schwaller again. The rock placement, John.
Yep.
Kids, if we can call them that.
We can.
So good.
You and I can.
Term of endearment.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think, too, you saw Xenia sort of gesture there to Riekiger and Goffner that it's just they needed to have that broom just a smidge wider, not that much wider, but just kind of saying, look, that's where we got to put it. Let's remember for that draw path to the button because, yeah, that never looked, it just didn't look like the other ones that have been coming down that path, stayed wide for a long time, didn't need the sweeping, and all that finish was at the end, which is exactly where they wanted it.
And impressive that the younger squad picks up on that and makes the adjustment before the veteran squad.
So we'll see if Anna Hasselborg can duplicate the feat here. This is not an easy shot. Needs to throw about back 4, maybe back 8, a little tap here. Trying for 1, final stone. Agnes Knockenhauer trying to bring this one over here. This is close. Can they get enough of that yellow? No, they cannot.
It's too much weight.
So a lovely shot from Xenia Schwaller with her last makes Anna Hasselborg pay for the mistake on her first. They'll put another one on the board. They lead 3-1.
There's a place where the world's best curling not only lives, it rocks. Download the new Grand Slam of Curling app and live stream all the action. Get exclusive content, stats, merch, and more. Let's rock.
Well, Tyler, we talked in the break. Just a great shot from Xenia Schwaller. Not much more you can say there. They were the first team to really navigate that path, and you and I have played enough over the years. Sometimes that's just the key to having a good end or scoring in an end is figuring out a path before your opponent, and that's what Xenia did there with her last one.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to say, we've seen this shot missed narrow so many times. As much as it looks like a lot, just take a foot more, you know, make sure it's enough. And if it undercurls, it undercurls, but at least you're giving it a chance. And that banked down plenty, even going out wider. So kudos to the young skip for figuring out that path and making an absolutely perfect draw to the side of the button for that steal.
Well, and I think that's good knowledge, too, for both teams, too, you know, knowing that it is going to finish. You are still going to get that hard cut, but that hard cut is going to come later. You know, that's valuable information, knowing that you can draw around a rock in the top 12 like that. So first stone for Selena Riekiger into the top 4, and a corner guard up for Sophia Maybergs. And I believe we're going to see another rock in the house here from Riekiger. And did see this from Schwaller quite a bit yesterday as well, Tyler. When they have the lead, they're tending to put the first 2 lead rocks in the house and not throw a guard.
I feel like we've seen the majority of teams going with a guard in these situations, some even starting the end off with a guard up by 2 just because they feel it's so tough to defend with the 5-rock free guard zone rule. But I don't mind a couple in from Schwaller in this situation.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed, I've called a few Schwaller games now, and I have been impressed with Selena Riekiger's play just in general. Tends to get dialed into draw weight pretty quickly, so they do feel comfortable having her throw those draws in the house, knowing she's going to get them in a spot that's not going to get them into too much trouble. And her sweeping is you know, really top notch. I mean, we talked about it already with both her and Goffner, but yeah, really I think has the opportunity to develop into absolutely one of the best leads out here. You know, I'm always paying attention to the leads, and yeah, just been so impressed with her over the course of these few events.
I really like that they didn't even take a look at freezing on that red stone either and went right to the center guard. Just seems like we see teams get in trouble way more often than not playing the chase to freeze on that seconds first stone. Stay away from the corner, keep the action to the center. Don't be afraid of that stone. Overcurled a little bit, but took away the correct side at least, so they can't hit and roll into the corner. Another one curling hard in the center of the sheet.
Oh, just squeaks by for Agnes Knockenhauer. Got maybe a little unlucky to have it roll right beside their rocker on the corner guard, but great shot.
That was shadow of the rock by that guard. Eyelash away from yet another miss, wrecking the center.
Ja, men den macht sitt av! För där, alltså, om den är kort. Min första sten, om den är kort då är det ju bättre att köra över. Och så Sara går ju för att hon får information om att den är lång, och då vill hon ju studsa ut. Men om man inte haft den slaget och hon köppat den. Jag vet att det är svårt, men vi behöver
Hit called here for Fabian Reeder.
liksom i fartspelaren. Hon ska bakåt där, gärna inte hela tiden. Nej, men Ina.
They would have liked to leave that one right there on the center line for a useful spot, but rolls away, so decent chance for Hasselborg to attack now.
Jag tänker, Elna. Ja, du får aldrig klicka i gården då.
Chase here for Knockenhauer through a tight port. Through the port with the hit and the roll. And that is lovely from Agnes Knockenhauer.
Great touch from Aggie there. Perfect roll underneath guard. There's some distance between the guard and the rock of the house, so could chase it if they like, but looks like Schwaller immediately going to the freeze, staying aggressive.
Yeah, that's another thing I have noticed. Not just that they're aggressive in general, but they're not afraid to throw a freeze, which is the hardest shot in curling, and there are teams that will try to avoid it at all costs, and Schwaller is not one of them. If they feel like a freeze can get them out of a jam, they'll call it.
Needs to go for line and for weight here. It's definitely over curling. Probably want it to stop.
Yeah, I got a little lucky that it at least got in for second shot.
Om de sätter den så har de trycka ut så. Jag tänker mig frysa egen. Slå 4.
Draw around everything here, Tyler?
Looks that way. Definitely want to get a counter. I don't think they mind if this goes deep either.
Yeah, that red shot stone is going to be pretty tough to get to for Schwaller, so I think I'd agree with you there. As long as your second shot, I think it's okay if it's deep. This looks like it's cooking, though. Nothing at all from Sophia and Agnes so far.
Speed should come off it as it banks down the hill. We'll see how much, though.
Yeah, really want this to stop for second shot. Xenia Schwaller trying to usher it out the back, and does. And you hear the frustration there from Sarah McManus. There were quite a few good spots for that stone, I think, Tyler, and where it ended up is decidedly not one of them.
Yeah, anything from back 4 to back 8, top 4, you know, as long as you're not cornering on your own. There were a lot of spots that she could have put that to help, and that's not really one of them. So another freeze opportunity for Team Schwaller. Goffner getting 2 cracks at it. Better track on this one. Need it to sit, can't bounce.
That's unfortunate for Goffner, just a hair heavy.
Yeah, door open now for Hasselborg too. There's space there to roll in. This could put Schwaller in a jam.
Crucial shot here for Sarah McManus. Chance to get a potential big end set up if she can make a hit and small roll here. Mayberg's leaning on this.
A really good line.
And that's really good from Sarah McManus. Great recovery. Hasselborg lies too.
Have to see how much of that red they can see behind the guard. That sliver, so they could still get both these moving. They actually could have turned that one over more. I think they were a little surprised by the dead roll, but that's another thing we've seen fairly consistently right now. These are always thinner than you think to get 2 rocks moving too. You'd like to hit probably between 1/3 and 1/4.
Well, and as we've talked about, these houses and rocks maybe not as lively as we would expect at a slam. So Xenia's going to have to get this one humming, and you can't miss that top guard by much. So this is precise. Do they move it far enough? That's not bad.
Yeah, I think they can get to that yellow stone, though, for Hasselborg. So could be sitting at 1 million after this.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't see. I thought that one was fully buried, but you're right. From that angle, certainly looks like Anna can get at it. And if she can, she'd be lying 5. Yeah, just looked like they maybe swept that a little early, Tyler. The Goffner got on that right away and maybe just altered the line a little too much.
Yeah, it's a tough shot to get both out anyways, but had to make sure one of them goes. And it's a difficult shot for Hasselborg, but I think you have to play it. It's just a matter of figuring out the weight. I think solid hack is good. It should finish on that line.
Alltså om hon är här, då har vi säkert 1 kanske att vi kan dutta, ha plats och dutta med 2. Ja, och så alltid marginalen i centern.
Anna's been very deliberate throughout this game on some of these important shots. We're talking about line and weight being very precise about how they want to throw these. And John, you really need to roll this wide too. Nose isn't terrible. It's kind of hard to get to nose. But if you roll all the way to the corner, with Schwaller, it doesn't really have a whole lot. I mean, not sure where they throw to after that.
Yeah, this is a spot that will curl. We'll see if Anna Hasselborg can navigate this port. If she can, Xenia Schwaller is going to be in some real trouble here.
Huge shot here, fourth.
Agnes Knockenhauer on this. Got to get by that center guard. Oh, no.
Just got surprised by the curl again.
And just that, to
didn't
me,
sweep it till the very end.
And for me, Tyler, not a lot of weight either. You know, and I think when you know that it curls that much, I know that they couldn't see a ton of it behind the guard, but that was not a lot of weight thrown at that one.
We're going to see some pace in the second half of this game, too, for both these teams. Schwaller now under 15 minutes and Hasselborg 15 and a half.
Yeah, they both, well, Hasselborg actually has burned a timeout already. So, yeah, all the other three games are in the fifth end. And in the Dunstone-Schuster game, they're already into third stones in the fifth end. And that includes the 2.5-minute fourth end break. So, yeah, we're definitely cutting a slow pace here. Well, that's the one nice thing about time clocks. It'll all equal out in the end.
It better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Otherwise, guess what? You'll lose.
Yeah, exactly. So they looked at maybe hitting that red stone that was second shot and just trying to roll the second shot. Or just nose it. It's not bad either. You just can't jam.
Okay. Nej, dat wil je niet. Dan had hij een slechte doppel, wenn man weiterholt. Hinder. Ja.
There's a pretty big area you can throw this draw to and be out of trouble. It just has to be by your own yellow. You sit back 4, it's a really good spot, but it's not terribly precise here, John. It's all about line and making sure you get by top 8.
The last rock for Xenia Schwaller, fourth end. They lead by 2 and trying to avoid giving up the big score to Hasselborg here. This is really cooking. They're trying to bring it onto those back reds. And that'll outcount at least 3 of the Hasselborg stones, so that's a positive, and I think we'll see Anna drawing for 2 here.
Yeah, same path that they saw Schwaller on. Should have a good read on this line. Just have to make sure you have enough broom. So there's plenty of room to go by. Doesn't look like the speed is any different on that track either, John. Shouldn't have to worry about frost or anything like that.
Final stone for Anna Hasselborg, a chance to tie up this game before we head into the fourth end break. Needs to bite the forefoot. Nothing at all yet from Sophia and Agnes.
Should be just fine. Turning over hard now on that path.
So well managed from Team Hasselborg there, and it will be 2 on the board. We'll have ourselves a tie game. Xenia Schwaller will have the hammer when we come back after this 3-minute break.
This is the Cornwall Curling Club. It's my home club. I started curling here when I was 7 years old.
I decided to stick with curling because I really enjoyed the small team environment. I curled with the same girls from the time I was 9, basically until the end of juniors. So getting to form those friendships with my teammates was really special to me.
I started curling because of my grandparents, and both my parents curled and my brother, so it was just like a whole family thing. And when you walk into the curling club in Truro, Nova Scotia, and everyone greets you, and it's such a warm environment, and it's fun. After school, we'd go, and all of our friends would be there, so it was just like such a fun environment. And I got to curl with some of my closest friends growing up, so it really helped me keep in the game, and we all had the same goals.
I know what curling has done for our family, the opportunities it provided for both my girls. Nationally, you know, we've got to see travel the world. It's just a great sport. It's a small community. People, you know, at all levels. Everybody knows each other. That's what it's kind of a unique sport that way.
It's a sport that enables him to build his confidence and to make friends while doing something that he really enjoys.
Right now, at the age that they're at, it's just awesome to see when they come here and they see their friends at the curling club and the stuff they do off the ice too, and smiles and hanging out and just enjoying their time with friends.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Slam of curling. John Cullen alongside Tyler George for this Draw 13 action, the final game of the round robin for both Anna Hasselborg and Xenia Schwaller. Anna Hasselborg sitting at 3-0, already guaranteed a playoff spot, looking to go perfect through the round robin. Xenia Schwaller at 1-2 needs this win to find her way into either a tiebreaker or a playoff spot. And Tyler, we have said it throughout the game, but it's been pretty impressive from Xenia Schwaller so far. It is 3-3 on the scoreboard, but the Swiss team has been in control throughout.
Yeah, the young squad really has had the better of the action for the most part. They did dodge a bullet in the fourth end, even though they gave up 2 that was looking like it could have been 4 or 5 for Hasselborg for a little while. But generally, Schwaller has outpositioned Hasselborg, and really they've kind of read the ice better too in some of these paths and been the first ones to make a few draws and get better rock position than Hasselborg. But score is tied 3-3, and now with 4 ends played, you expect Hasselborg to have a better grasp for the second half of this game. And aggressive play here from...
Yeah, we see. We've been talking about it all morning, and
I think they were trying to throw that onto the paint, but just ended up short.
No, they called the corner guard, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, so they really swept it to tight then.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes, baby. That's the way we like it. A reminder, there are 3 other games being played right now as well inside the Mary Brown Center, all of them available on the Home Team Network. Right beside our feature sheet, it's James Craik against Magnus Romsfjell, and the Norwegians in firm control of that one. They are leading 5-2 with the hammer in the 5th end. Beside them, Caitlin Law is scoring a big 2-ender in the 4th. They're tied 2-2 with Satsuki Fujisawa. And in the far sheet from us, John Schuster giving up a steal of 1 in the 4th. They blanked the 5th, and so that game is tied 2-2. It's John Schuster against Matt Dunstone. Schuster with the hammer, and they are playing 6. Dunstone needs that win to keep his playoff hopes alive, sitting at 1-2, and Schuster at 2-1 needs the win to guarantee himself a playoff spot.
Going right under the corner guard here again.
Yeah, love it.
Riekiger.
Sophia Mayberg's around the center, Riekiger around the corner. But it does look like they can chase it here as we get the hat cam view from Agnes Knockenhauer. Sophia Maybergs has been on this right out of the hand. Got to get this by the corner guard, and they do. What a sweep. And a nice little roll there for Agnes as well. Hasselborg lies too.
Schwaller chasing the #1 counter, probably trying to roll under the corner. Just ends up on the nose.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for Fabian Reeder as this Colton Lott a little upset over there. This could be a great opportunity for Hasselborg to get two buried behind their center guard.
And Anna's happy with how this end is starting out. Trading hits, center guard up, one undercover, and now the roll behind. Perfectly done by Knockenhauer.
Yeah, that's really nice from Agnes. Struggled a little bit early on in this game, but she's had a great last few ends, and that shot no exception. Perfectly made.
She might want to wear that hat all the time.
Apparently. I agree. I'm waiting for the hat cam in the broadcast booth.
I don't know how exciting that would be.
It won't be at all.
We're not moving very much.
No, it won't be exciting at all. I just want to wear it.
There you go. We'll just get some duct tape and we'll get the camera going on your phone. We'll wrap it right around your forehead anyways. We don't need a hat.
That's a good point. I don't need to look cool or anything. Makes no difference to me.
Now, if we had the Cullen cam up here in the booth, people would just get hungry. All the snacks that you're pulling out, wife's cookies.
Yeah. Swedish candy. Yeah, I've got it all. Got it all going on. I don't mess around in the booth.
No complaints from your partner, I can tell you that. You share very well.
Well, I try. So center guard here for Sarah McManus, and that's made perfectly after Fabian Reeder unfortunately drove it by on her last shot.
I think this is kind of what we expected coming out of the break too. John Hasselborg starting to control the action a little more.
Yep, absolutely.
Getting the opponent chasing.
We have brought it up a few times, but both teams not necessarily in a time crisis, but maybe a little bit of a time crunch here, as they played those first four ends rather slow, so something we'll keep an eye on. As Selena Goffner runs it by the other way, so it continues to be Hasselborg line 2.
That easy call for Anna to replace the guard, making Schwaller waste some stones. And a good steal opportunity here too. That #1 counter is in a great spot.
Nothing at all from Maybergs and Knockenhauer.
You see the big finish on this line, but it's going to be really tight to the house, so a good chance for Goffner. The second attempt to try to move all these reds. It's really close to nose for all three to go. She can throw it hard too. Oof.
Yeah. Well, that's better.
is better than it was, but leaves the shooter for a semi-center and 2 reds still in the house, so. Now this is the draw we see warp down off this line and bury hard, so Hasselborg should be able to get this completely buried even above the tee if it's on the right track.
It's been a nice serenade for us up here in the booth. I'm not sure if that's
I was just gonna say.
I'm not sure if that's a Schuster-Dunstone game going on over there or a production of Stomp.
I think we had one in the Craig-Ramsfeld game too. The ladies are like, hey, boys, calm down a little bit, huh?
Yeah, Colton Lott banged his broom for about 3 shots after his miss, and then Chris Plies had a crucial miss. Schuster was looking set up for 3, and then Plies got a little inside on a takeout and allowed Dunstone to get them out of danger, so he was banging his broom, and it's all happening here this morning at the Mary Brown Center.
Really good line here. Now needs to sit. Pretty good backside of button, but good result. Chris doesn't do it that often anymore, but when he does, he gets his money's worth. I can tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're gonna do it, don't cheat yourself.
Don't cheat yourself. Yeah, no question. Maybe a little surprised that Schwaller's not drawing here.
Yeah, I would absolutely be drawing. They're trying to give themselves a simpler shot on their last, but 2 wouldn't be out of the question if you make a good draw and even tap it a little bit. And you may be drawing on your last anyways, too, so I think the draw is probably the preferable shot. And it's the exact shot that she made in the 3rd end to the side of the button.
No, I agree. This is a bit of an interesting call. You're kind of relying on Anna Hasselborg missing. I mean, I agree that if she misses, it could bring 2 into play, but I would favor the draw here, I think. Got to make this one first. Selena Riekiger trying to bring this one over. This was a little wide out of the hand for Xenia. Need that to sit for second shot, and it won't, so. Yeah, just not a great call and not great execution either. And this is looking like a really good steal opportunity for Anna Hasselborg.
Yeah, they're calling top 8. I think top 4, yeah, where Anna's talking about is better. Really put the pressure on that draw.
Yeah, I just think even if Xenia had made that shot exactly the way she wanted to, Anna, with where that yellow center guard is, you could always Christmas tree and make it really tough for Xenia to get at that shot stone. So interesting call on her first, and yeah, this is where Anna Hasselborg can really ratchet up the pressure.
And you really want to put this in a spot that brings a steal of 2 into play. The difference between taking 1, giving 1 here in the 5th isn't massive, but a steal of 2 would drastically change the odds for both teams of winning this game. Hasselborg's taking another look at this. I think you come right into the 4-foot and show half and make her have to draw around it to the button for the 1, where steal of 2 and steal of 1 are right next to each other. I'm talking about short. I don't like that.
I'm not sure what the reason was for that. Anna was kind of looking if Xenia could make like a double or an in-off of her redstone on the side.
Fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know why that would make it so you'd change the call to have this be top 12 instead.
Yeah, I don't like this call here. This is the least likely scenario for you to steal more than 1 and change the outcome odds drastically.
Well, this looks like a lot of weight, so they may be calling the audible anyway. Last stone here for Anna Hasselborg in 5. Starting to come down now.
Yeah, you want this to finish and bury now if you're going to go that far. Yeah, they still should have swept that a little more. Now there might be a triple for 2. That's really close. I think it's there, John. I think that's a triple for two now. They swept that right to the spot to leave that, too. If they keep sweeping it, it's not there, and it's a tough score.
Yeah, you could afford to be almost right on the face of your red. And you wouldn't have been in too much danger of giving, and you certainly wouldn't have given up any more than one.
That's just a poorly managed shot there. It's the path it was on. If you sweep that at all towards the end of that shot, you're in pretty good shape, and it's even up with the other red. It's a tough draw for one. This may have been why they changed the call to top 12, because they were worried about leaving this shot, but as long as you sweep it to the right spot, it's never there.
Well, we know Xenia Schwaller likes to throw this big weight. We'll see if she can find a little Swiss magic here. Potential triple for two.
Gotta get up a little bit. It's close.
This is close. Got one, got two. Do you have the third? What a shot from Xenia Schwaller. Phenomenal touch from the Swiss skip. Gets all three reds moving and pulls a two out of nowhere. What a shot. They lead 5-3.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
Well, Tyler, that, fair to say, never looked like a score of two for Xenia Schwaller until the very last stone. Had to make a triple to make it happen, and make a triple she did. She leads 5-3, and we talked in the break, just not sure what happened for Team Hasselborg there, but not the rock management we would generally expect from the Swedish squad.
Hey, you could not leave that in a worse spot than they did. If you don't throw it, they don't have a shot for two. And, I mean, they probably still come off the outside winger, but I don't think they're playing it. But if it's short, there's no triple. If it's a couple feet farther, a foot farther, there's no triple. But they just sweep that even a little bit. It's a tough score for Hasselborg, let alone not leaving the shot for two. But just left it in the only place that they couldn't in the house to leave that shot. But kudos to Schwaller for making it afterwards, too.
So center guard up for Selena Riekiger. I do think this yellow stone will be gettable, and indeed that is the call here for Sophia Maybergs.
And trying to roll underneath the corner guard, too. Really turned over, actually rolls to the opposite side of the center guard.
Yeah, that's not a great result for Sophia there.
stick made, and Schwaller be very content to trade as many hits as they can here. 2-point lead in the 6th end.
Not a huge inside roll there for Agnes Knockenhauer.
Oh, this is good for Schwaller, shortening this end. Really trying to avoid 3 is your first objective. Force is good, steal is good, even 2 isn't terrible, but Hasselborg's already in a spot where they're going to have to either get a steal or a 3. Or the old curling math, 2-1-2, in order to win the game.
No trouble there for Fabian Reeder. Schwaller continues to lie too.
Yeah, rocks are in pretty good spots here for Schwaller too. Hasselborg really needs to get something underneath the corner. They don't like that rock on the top of the 8, so they're going to hit that one again. Teams managing these tracks around the center line better now as the game is going. That rolls all the way into the corner. Did not expect that to be the way that they'd get to the corner guard.
No kidding. Really nice from Agnes Knockenhauer. Schwaller still lying 1, but that red is dead and gone behind that corner.
Look at that drawing again now too. You got to play the run here, ladies. Peel is fine, but yeah, open up that red counter. There you go. All right, run back it is. We turned the comms on. They heard us in the booth. This is the right call here. At the very least, you should be opening it up.
Okay.
And doesn't clear either. Leaves the corner there. At least they can dig it out. The out-turn side.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there. And Hasselborg will have the chance to lie too.
They'd really like to separate these if you're Hasselborg too. If you can get the roll under the center, great. If you can get the roll in the corner, great. Just don't leave a double.
Oh, I think that might have left a double.
We'll have to take a look. That looks to be pretty much buried. Good roll there.
Really good, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those that the worst roll and the best one are about 3 inches off of
totally.
each other.
Well, in the angle that we're sitting at here, it is tough to exactly tell whether that got fully buried, but yeah.
That's why we have this thing here.
I know.
The home team fellas gave us a perfect look at the guard and showed us, nope, that's buried, John.
When the game is right in front of me, it's impossible for me to... I had that happen in embarrassing fashion this week, calling the Team Vrano game, and I said that there was no way it was going to take them 2 stones to get at a shot stone, and then, I mean, in fairness, Almeida Duval did make an amazing shot to get at it in 1 stone, but yes, that was a good reminder to just look at the camera angles. You are allowed to do that.
That freeze just taps a little bit, but a good spot. And Schwaller continuing to play with no fear. Yeah, I suppose if you do the math on the shots they're playing, too, with the freezes and draws, you only have to make so many of them. in order to get yourself out of trouble.
That's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, you can play the intern freeze now into the pocket. You could play scoreboard and double the 2 reds that are open. The back 4 and the side of the 12-foot. Do not like that slash they were talking about. Don't see why they would stop now with playing aggressive. And I actually like this call. It's if you get the right angles, you just can't corner your own yellow. You have to be frozen on the red beside that yellow.
Yeah, or you can be right there, I think, Tyler, right? Just a little above it.
As long as you're not cornered on the yellow stone, you're okay. And that is the other option, is that double on those 2 back reds.
All right, so timeout called. Coach Thomas Lips will come out for a discussion here. And I'm just looking at the draw-off standings for all the teams that are sitting at 1 and 2. Xenia Schwaller is about in the middle of the pack. So presuming they get a few losses that go their way and they stay around the middle of the pack, they should be in at minimum a tiebreaker with a win here.
Ja, aber angenommen, wir sind ein bisschen kurz, dann wäre da nicht so schlimm, oder? Ja. Das heißt, Plan B wäre irgendwie so etwas. Auf den Topf, oder? Okay.
So they do settle on the freeze, John. We've talked about where they can be on this shot. Yeah, you're probably out of trouble as long as you're frozen on the red.
Yeah, I just don't see a ton of other options for them that don't get them in trouble. Even though this is a tough shot, I agree. I think it's the call.
The double on the back 2 would probably eliminate the 3 opportunity. Likely that you'd be throwing against a 2 on your last, but this is the one that if you make it, you probably have a pretty good chance of winning the game too, because the steal looks pretty good.
So big shot here for Xenia Schwaller, and this is really curling. Selena Riekiger trying to hold it. Maybe you can get a little chip off this top red.
Oh, that's a little fortunate there.
Yeah, I just don't know. Did it set up a double? I don't think so.
I think they're all right. They'd have to wiggle through if you're making the double.
So another good sweep there from Selena Riekiger to save that from what would have been potential disaster, Tyler. If you clip just a little bit more of that red one, you'd probably roll right onto the corner, give Anna Hasselborg a double for fun, and you could be in some big, big trouble.
Jag tror att jag kan spinna upp dit. sa Schwaller här. Allt blir väldigt högt upp. Men alltså nu tycker jag att det ser helt okej ut att skicka på den där, va? Ska vi ta time eller?
Timeout called here by Hasselborg.
Alltså man skulle typ kunna sticka den så.
That's their second. They won't have any for the last 2 ends, but still 9.5 minutes remaining.
Exakt, för att ticka den dit, ja. Vad ser du för fart? Ja, exakt. Alltså, ja, exakt.
So the second and final timeout here for Team Hasselborg. Alex Lindstrom out to discuss.
Alltså, är vi någonstans där bara på en 10-halva? Jag tror typ det. Alltså, det gick ju rakt på den som du spelar. Ja, exakt. En av två i gagga.
With Agnes with the hat cam on. You can tell when she disagrees with something too.
Yeah,
that
you see
went
that.
back and forth. No. Emphatic no. I think somebody should wear that to George Street at some point during this weekend too.
I think that
shaky view is what it would look like for you anyways.
Yeah, it could be the end of some curlers' careers probably if they wore it on George Street. So not playing a ton of weight at this, just a little tap up for Anna Hasselborg with her first and 6.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too.
There's a hole you can poke that yellow rock through now.
I'm sure that was part of the discussion in the timeout.
And I think there's also a red that can whisker the yellow over the top. You might lose a couple reds, but if you're going to get 2 or 3, that would still be there.
Yeah.
So Schwaller, boy, better be precise with this one.
Ja. Und selbst wenn wir ein bisschen kurz sind und da die Linie zumachen, so kommt der nicht raus. Ja, vielleicht besser so.
Yeah, it's a lonely lemon in there, Tyler, that's for sure. It's starting to get a little scary here for Team Schwaller.
Second time in this game, Hasselborg is looking like maybe a 4 or 5 could come into play. So rock placement here, very, very important for Schwaller. Trying to get inside of the red rock in the top of the 8-foot, get a corner behind. Maybe even all the way down to that red stone on the top of the button. Have to be careful with angles if you get that deep, though.
Yeah, this is a crucial shot here for Xenia Schwaller. Could be a steal, could be giving up $1 million. Final stone. Riekiger and Goffner on this right away again. Do not want to over curl here, and this looks light.
This is trouble. If it gets by the guard, it might be short of count too.
Oh boy.
This is deep trouble.
Yeah, Xenia unhappy with herself there. You could not come short there. That was the worst spot for that. And this is a shot for 5.
It'll be tough to keep the shooter and the back red. Or if the shooter rolls away, it may push their rock that's biting the 8-foot out of count. It is there for 5, but you're playing it for 4. 5's a bonus.
Yeah, I was really only saying 5 because it kind of looks like, Tyler, with where they're putting this broom, they're not trying to like pick it out of there. It almost looks like they are trying to score 5.
This is solid hack to board, which is a good weight for that shot. The pick probably would make contact with their own red in the back of the house too. So, you know, depending on how it would catch, it could be only 3 in that situation. But yeah, this is, I like playing it soft, but
yeah, we've seen rocks over. Sure. Yeah, we've seen rocks over curl here. So
Anna played a very similar shot in the 4th. The end they got 2 when it was looking like they could get 4 or 5, and it curled late and wrecked the guard. So have to be conscious of that as well.
Final stone for Anna Hasselborg, a chance to put a very crooked number on the board.
This is going to curl.
Sounds close. She's got it. Does it hang on for 5? It won't, but no matter. They still score 4. Phenomenal shot from Anna Hasselborg, taking advantage of that Schwaller mistake. And my, how the turntables. We'll be right back.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on,
every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance, pushing limits,
seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line. It's a gold line. It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Well, Tyler, it had been a great game for Xenia Schwaller. Really in control, made that fantastic triple in the 5th to take a 2-point lead. Looked like things were going in their favor, but how things can change out here on the Grand Slam ice. Anna Hasselborg with a fantastic end. Xenia Schwaller not able to find a great stone with her last one. Hasselborg makes them pay, and they now lead 7-5.
Yeah, you're always playing with fire, playing those freezes, draws. You know, a good one can get you out of trouble most of the time. Problem is you're not clearing any of your opponent's stones when you're playing them. So they pile up if you don't make the freeze, and that's exactly what happened there in the 6th. It kind of felt like a matter of time before Hasselborg found one of those big ends.
Yeah, indeed she found it. Had a shot for 5, wasn't super easy, but quote-unquote settles for 4. And for Schwaller now, we'll see if they can find a way back into this. Gonna need at least 2 here. Or a blank. 1 just not gonna work for them.
Yeah, and she played it smart on that last shot too, John, because if you get 4, you're up 2, playing 7, your opponent's going to have to either get a steal or a 3 in order to win the game. So 5, obviously, you know, that extra point matters, but the difference between being up by 1 and up by 2 is way greater than 2 and 3 for these last 2 ends. So make sure the 4 and the 2-point lead. Don't underthrow it, get anywhere near that guard, and make sure you get the 4 points.
Well, and especially with how we've seen rocks curl on that exact turn, right? You don't need to get too cute with it. You know, if you lose it, you may really lose it. So, yeah, I loved the way she threw that last one, and yeah, it was no mistake. So another typical setup here for both teams, center and rock around for Hasselborg and corner and rock around for Schwaller. One thing working in Schwaller's favor is that Sophia Mayberg stone at the back of the forefoot.
And we talk about 0 or 2 ends, John. This is like a 0 or 3 end for Schwaller. So you have to make a decision fairly early on of which of the 2 you're going for.
I feel like with the way Schwaller plays, they'd probably be looking for the 3. Like to play aggressive and keep rocks in play.
Yeah, 0 is probably not the decision that will be made. I don't think you have to worry about them going all out for it.
Love it. Well, good. Good. Squares.
I think they were trying to make more contact with the red and create a pocket there, which would have been a good result, but instead just clears it.
Yeah, Schwaller lying 1, but it is definitely chaseable. Over in the Dunstone-Schuster game, Matt Dunstone in all sorts of trouble in the 7th end, but made a triple on his first one and a really good freeze on his last one. Looks like he is forcing John Schuster to 2 here. And by force, I mean because they were looking at maybe giving up 4 or 5 at one point.
That Dunny Sheriff getting his team out of massive trouble, but Schuster still with a draw for 2, which give them very good chance of winning. But should be noted, if John doesn't make that draw, they played against each other in the C qualifier game at the Canadian Open, or excuse me, the Tour Challenge, yeah. And Schuster was up 2 without coming home, and Dunstone got 3. So it could be a deja vu type scenario. John's actually looking at maybe playing something thin for 3 instead now too.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. Keep you updated on that one as it goes. Laws and Fujisawa heading into the 8th end. Laws settled for 1 in the 7th. That one's 4-4. Fujisawa will have the hammer coming home. And in the Romsfjell-Crate game, Romsfjell's up 2 with the hammer playing 8, so they're in firm control of that one. The recent European bronze medalist says, unfortunately, that one goes right through everything for Schwaller.
That's the turbulence of a young team. Peaks and valleys are very severe. Schwaller has shown the ability to not just play with, but control the action against Hasselborg and the top teams here. But when things get away from them, they can get ugly in a hurry, and that's what we've seen now the last 2 ends. Wow, what a shot by Schuster over there.
Yeah, John Schuster with the thin poke out of the rings and does indeed score 3 in the 7th end. So it's going to be an uphill battle for Matt Dunstone to find his way back into this one. As Schuster leads by 3, and a win there would get John Schuster into the playoffs.
Oof.
And that's unfortunate on our sheet too.
He's going haywire.
So many things happening all at once here.
Yeah, a couple of horrendous misses here back to back, both teams, and now all of a sudden Schwaller in very good position, sitting 2. The number 1 slightly buried. Trying to get inside the center guard and stagger it.
Ooh, unfortunately,
not great again.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a hair heavy from Selena Goffner there, and that will set up at minimum a double here for Hasselborg.
Dubben sitter inte. Men är det någonstans lite high för dubben så sitter den ju. Så det du har om du träffar linan så är det lugnt. Alltså om du, är du där så är det lugnt. Men är du någon som är lite vid så är det ju rakt i. Men här, biter du linan är det lugnt.
And they really want to make sure this doesn't jam on the back red. Should be able to get thin enough it goes over the top.
I would think so too.
Hänga rakt så gör vi det. Ja.
Yeah, that's a good angle of it there. You'd have to have it go pretty poorly for it to jam on that back one, I think. Sarah McManus looking for the double. And just like that, very nice shot from Sarah. Hasselborg lies one.
Yeah, you got to get the roll inside now if you're Schwaller and just hope that Hasselborg doesn't make the double back. Still bring 3 in.
Got to get by this center guard, though. They're by. Now can you hang on? You make the double. Okay, that works out not too badly.
It actually brings the blank back in, too,
yeah,
if
totally.
Hasselborg makes the double.
Rulla jämnt, eller? Marginal rulla ner. Ja, exakt. Det gick ganska lugnt nu. Dit Mina.
So hit and roll here for Anna Hasselborg with her first.
How far can they roll it? Oh, that's really good from Anna.
Yeah, very nice.
Buried.
Gets it right behind those 2 reds, I think. Is it chaseable? Regardless, Zenia's not looking at it.
I think you could. I don't think you do it now. I think you throw this to shot rock top 4. So they can't leave the short run in. Then you can chase around the wide side with the out turn on the last. You see I did the swoop here?
I did.
The wide side.
I loved it. Loved the swoop.
You have no idea how often we talk with our hands up here in the booth. I think the power rankings of hand talkers is Mike McEwen #1 by a mile.
Oh, by a mile. Yeah, he's drawing pictures up here.
Yeah. I don't know. After that, it's kind of a battle for second.
Yeah, Mike McEwen gestures with the frequency of a sign language interpreter. First rock for Xenia Schwaller. Desperately needs at least 2 here in the 7th, and this looks like she may have pulled the string again. Riekiger and Goffner trying to drag it.
Yeah,
this is way short.
Nowhere near. Need to get it on the paint at least.
Yeah, so it is on the paint. That does put maybe a little bit of pressure on Anna Hasselborg, but certainly a comfortable situation for the Swedes here.
I'd be tempted to just hit that back one. Let them draw for 1, because I don't really see much shot for 2. I guess you could run your yellow in, but
yeah.
And I know you're just trying to draw 8 foot, but
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't mind hitting it. I mean, even if you hit and roll out, you know, even if you kind of miss this, it's still not an easy chase for Xenia either. That's not a guaranteed make by any means. Yeah, I think this is the smart call. You never want to bring 3 into play, and this out turn has been really tricky too.
Yeah, if you make contact with that stone, 3 is dead, and 2 is really difficult. So I think the hit is the right call here.
And to your point, Tyler, if you make this hit, if your second shot, I don't think Xenia has anything for 2.
Yeah, she may not have enough of that yellow to run it in to score more than 1. So yeah, just hit it on the beak, roll in a couple inches somewhere in there. But the good thing, again, for Anna is no matter how precise this is, if you make contact with that stone, you're going to be ahead with the hammer in the last end no matter what.
Last rock for Anna Hasselborg, 7th end. Leading by 2 and trying to stay in control of this game.
That's perfect for Anna.
Yep, exactly where they wanted it. The only thing here is, do they have the kick double?
Oh, God, you have to throw it. Absolute worm burner weight. Got to get it back to Halifax.
Yeah, Xenia's trying to measure that up, but
no.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think it does not get enough of it.
Well, you got to get by the guard, too, going backwards, so it's close to that.
I wonder if she tries it anyway, just knowing that 1's probably not good enough here.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
She can throw it hard. We've seen that, but yeah, I don't think the physics are there.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. Yeah, you might see Kevin Cooey with like a head height backswing take a go at that one, but
he'd probably be the guy.
Yeah,
if I was going to choose somebody to throw this.
Exactly.
But the other factor too is the houses are so slow right now.
Yeah.
Like in the outside 8s and 12s, we saw that from Schuster's final stone in 7. John doesn't play that stone in the last, or that shot in the last slam, I don't think, because the rock probably spins out pretty easy.
So final stone for Xenia Schwaller here. Just a draw to the forefoot, needs full 4.
This has got to go, too.
Yes, it does. Oh, no, she pulled the string on this one, too. My goodness, that's a steal of 2 for Anna Hasselborg. And Xenia Schwaller so dialed in to draw weight before this game, just could not get it done. And indeed, it is handshakes. And so Team Hasselborg will improve to 4-0 on the week, a perfect record through the round robin. Xenia Schwaller unfortunately falls to 1-3, will miss the playoffs, but some positive signs for this young Swiss team and some positive signs for us now as we get to enjoy the rest of our day. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day too. For the Home Team Network and Tyler George, I've been John Cullen. Thanks for tuning in with us. Goodbye.